Listen. Am I getting an echo?
I don't have any. I know. Hold on. Let me check my mic and make sure I got the right mic on.
It might be me. No, I don't hear it now. So yeah, I'm good. Yep, this is the new little baby.
Oh, and what's? Oh, look, she's making biscuits on your boobie. You know what that means, right?
What?
That she feels very connected to you, because that's what kittens do. They make biscuits on their mama's belly to make the milk come out the boobies.
Well,
she's making biscuits in the right place.
Well, she'll be going to the shelter Monday.
Aww.
And hopefully they can find her a good home. But she's little, so she just cries and cries. And so we've been trying to feed her and fatten her up. A dog was trying to get her, so I couldn't let her stay outside. I had to bring her in and try to save her.
Yeah.
But her tail is wagging now, and she's kneading and she's purring. So she is
Look, you said she's going to the shelter. She reached up and gave you a hug.
I know it. They're all trying to stay with me, and I'm like, no, y'all are not fixing to make me the cat woman.
Oh yeah, we're both old cat ladies.
And then look, as I say that, Millie walks back into the house, and Millie can't stand her because she's a female. Voodoo is okay with her, but Millie, every time I put her down, Millie just growls at her. I'm like, be nice.
That's the way Karma is about other female dogs. That's why I have to keep Pippa in my room. Karma will eat her.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we was trying to find.
We've been together 3 years, and Karma will still try to eat her.
Jeez. Well, we're definitely trying to find. I was trying to find her a little home, somebody that would take her in. But hopefully, with her being this small, the shelter, we'll find somebody. It's the woman across the street. We got into it the other day because I kept telling her, why the fuck you keep saving these goddamn animals and then leaving them in your yard to die? And then I have to go over there and save them. I was fucking pissed. I'm fixing to hot foot that bitch. Are we live?
We live.
I'm fixing to hot foot that bitch.
But I know what you're talking about. She still got, how many dogs? She got 3?
Oh my God.
3 chihuahuas. I know she got 3 chihuahuas.
It's a bunch of other animals. She was like, Millie, the cat that we have was a rescue. She goes, I saw her on the freeway and I brought her home. And I'm like, why? You don't rescue animals and keep them outside. You don't do that. You rescue animals. You either you foster them or you find a home for them, especially little, like this kitten been outside for 2 weeks. When we brought her in, she couldn't even walk. She was so dehydrated and malnourished. I can't stand to fucking see animals die like that.
No, she'll get adopted fast. If she doesn't, they'll take her to like those adoption things up at Petco and leave her up there, and they usually get adopted pretty fast.
Girl, this one going to sleep.
Oh. So we don't really have a topic today because I didn't put up a poll in the group. So we could talk about whatever we wanted to. I kind of wanted to talk about your Friday night readings.
We can do that. What do you want to talk about them? What do you want to teach?
You took donations for your readings instead of just doing the free readings, and I totally get it. Okay. Oh, well, I don't know if this is where you were coming from, but from my point of view, is that takes a lot of time and energy, and people abuse it. Abuse, the what we're trying to give as a gift and do for others. Give people an inch and they take a mile kind of thing. And it just takes so much out of you. And people don't understand that. And it pisses me off. And I'm going to say this right here with all your people watching. It pisses me off.
Well, they're your people too.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the ones on your page.
Oh, because I was like, that. My people is your people too.
But you post your monthly videos, your monthly taroscopes, and somebody is always asking, I didn't see the Virgo video. When you going to do the Cancer video? Listen, y'all. How do you say it? Listen, Linda, listen. It takes a lot of time and energy to make each one of those videos. It takes like 4 hours to make a 20-minute video. And she's doing this free of charge out of the kindness of her heart. Give her a fucking break and let her live her life. She does have a life outside of the videos. She's doing this for free for you guys. And she has never, ever let y'all down. Every single month she does all 12. I don't. When it comes to end of the month, if I ain't finished them all, fuck it, I ain't doing it. You get what you get. But Tonya never lets y'all down. She publishes all 12 Terrascopes every single month. Don't be asking her where's Cancer, where's Virgo, where's Libra.
Lynna is like, I'm fucking triggered. I'm triggered.
I'm pissed about it. It's every single month I see somebody ask. And it's like you don't have a life. Girl, you do more traveling and you have more jobs than any fucking body I know. And you still cater to doing the videos every single month.
And I'm rescuing animals now. Like, what the fuck, Spirit? Like, what are y'all trying to fucking do to me?
And you do your regular readings for your clients. You do your weekly spirit messages. God bless the fucking America. You know?
Here's the thing. Gotta be,
okay, go ahead. I digress.
We gotta be honest. Most people are very appreciative and respectful.
They are, but
there are some people.
Some, and those some just.
There's always going to be some people that feel entitled to your energy, no matter who you are. That's where boundaries come in. There's always going to be people who try to push the boundaries. And I agree with you. You know, whenever I get a lot of people in my inbox, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take my time with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm the type of person, when you try to push me past the boundary, then I dig my feet in. I'm like, no, am I hollering in your ear, baby? I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. But I think for the most part, people are appreciative. Now, the Friday readings, it's my first time ever doing donations, ever. And I did it to help out somebody, because I didn't even initially put my Cash App up there. I wanted the Cash App money to go to Elisa and Chaz.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even anything that I thought about by making regular, but it was like, you know, let me go ahead and throw some money their way because they need it. And I'm not trying to put their business out or whatever. Like we
all need money. You can throw
exactly.
My Cash App up there if you want to. I don't care.
Thank you. So it literally was putting, you know, a lot of people don't realize, if you really follow my page, I support a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I try to uplift a lot of people, because everybody has needs. And you are right, it takes a lot of energy. You know, a lot of times I made a deal with Spirit a long time ago that if I decided to do this professionally, would they bless me? And they said yes. And I said, so here's my deal. I'm going to give back. So Friday reads initially started with me wanting to give back to the community, because a lot of them book me during the week or the month. And you know, I do it when I can. Definitely, you know, I try to do every Friday. Doesn't always work that way, but I get what you're saying. You know, nobody wants to be taken advantage of. And trust me, I'm a Libra. If I feel like I'm being taken advantage of or manipulated, I will shut everything down. I don't have a problem walking away from it at all.
Even as a Leo, that's the quickest way to get me to not do something, is to tell me I have to. If you tell me that I have to, or to hurry up, I'll be like, no. I won't even drag my feet. I just straight up won't fucking do it.
I think most people, for the most part, are appreciative. I mean, I'm a Southern woman, so I was raised that you are supposed to be polite, you know, especially when you're getting something for free. You're supposed to be polite. But you do have about a handful of people that just feel entitled. No matter what you know, the more you give, the more they want. And some people,
they take them out.
Yeah, but the people who have been really rude and had the audacity to come into my inbox, they not there anymore. A lot of them, if you catch me at the wrong time in my inbox asking me where the fuck a Cancer reading is at 3:00 in the morning, you will never speak to me again in this lifetime. I can promise you that. You will never speak to me again, because then you're gonna get a whole different side of Mambo.
Yeah.
But you have some people, they just don't give a fuck. They don't. They're entitled. And I think for the most part, most people are good. Most people are appreciative because I go to other people's page. Jen does the readings. There's a lot of people on here that do a lot of good things in the community that don't even have to be readings. These people volunteer. You know, you got people that volunteer at animal shelters free.
Yeah.
Taylor.
Taylor worked at an animal shelter for 3 years for free.
Exactly. You do a lot for the community that people don't even know about. You do a lot of things. And you want to hope that most people are appreciative of it. Like you say, you do the monthly reads and everything too. And you edit, you got software, you got all kind of shit that I don't do.
That's what I said. Take 4 hours to make 120-minute.
Girl, I wouldn't even
Girl,
do
I
it.
know.
I would not do it if it was 4 hours. I would not. But it is one of those things where you live, you learn, and the people that support you will support you. The ones that just want to use you, eventually they fall off anyway.
Yeah.
Because they don't get what they want.
And then you get the ones like Brad. Now, I'll be honest. His first comment I thought was pretty comical.
I didn't even see his comment. What was Brad saying?
On Friday night, his first comment was, "Y'all should be using this starseed card so I can check out Uranus."
Oh, I did see that. And I was like, who is this asshole?
And I thought it was funny.
I did see, and then
he started making other comments.
Yeah, he was like, I can't believe that people are paying for this bullshit. I mean, he just went in, and he better be glad that I had a good day. He better be glad I had a good day because I saw it and I was like, okay, who is this asshole?
Somebody get rid of Brad. He's already gone.
Girl, yeah, I had to block him. I had to block because he was like, okay, you pushing it. Because here's the thing. There's one thing to be disrespectful towards me.
Yeah.
There's a whole different thing to be disrespectful to the people that come and support my page and the people that guest on my page. I'm not going to sit up there and let people abuse people that read on my page.
No.
I don't give a shit who you are. Jesus yourself. It ain't going to happen. But you always going to have those foolios and fooliettes that they want attention. They do that shit for attention. He was probably playing with himself at home, eating popcorn. It flashed across his screen. The thing that gets me with a lot of these people, you literally can scroll on to a different video. You don't even have to stay, but they stay just to heckle, just for the fun of it.
Yeah, I think they get off on it.
Yeah, they don't have nothing to do. Some of them, man, they be in prison. I be getting all kind of things like, I was playing with you while I was in there masturbating, dude. Oh, like, come on now. I know you ain't got shit else to do, but come on. They got to be, don't they give you a piece of paper and some pencil or crayon or something to color some pictures in there?
You can do some paper and some pencils, yeah.
Yeah, like Shatina saying basement dwellers. But I'm like, don't do that. Don't come on there and disrespect people that are just they're helping. You have the option to either get a reading or not get a reading. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Overall, between the two, what would you say the pros and cons were? Did this past Friday's vibe feel different to you?
Okay, so the questions definitely were more on point. Like, we didn't get a whole bunch of how he's feeling about me. Is he cheating on me? People didn't even pay for stuff like that. Most of the questions were like deep. And we didn't expect that. First of all, we didn't expect the questions to be really, really deep. We were going to try to allocate 5 minutes per each question, but definitely the energy changed with it. I didn't anticipate it. I really thought, okay, we're probably going to get maybe 6 or 7 people that are going to do a donation, and that'll be it. We'll be done in an hour. We literally went 2 hours.
I saw that.
Girl, with none of us. I think Chaz was kind of like, you could see it in his eyes. Like, what is this fucking going to end?
Right here that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do them real quick so we can get out of here.
Yes, we did not. We had so much support, and I was shocked. I was humbled, and I was shocked. But we did it. Like I said, I wanted to give my god kids a little bit of, a time to not only use their gifts, but also to make some money off of it for them, for the things that they wanted to do.
Lift them up.
Yeah, I wanted to really lift them up because both of them are excellent readers. So it was like, okay, So it was amazing. So thank you, everybody that came on and supported. Completely blew me away.
Yeah.
Completely, because normally I don't do donation reads because I just feel like I'm giving back. Fridays, I feel like it should be free. I've had people ask me though, can we do that once a month? And I was like, okay, but I'm gonna have to structure it. I'm probably gonna pre-book and only get so many people and then read those people and be done with it, because I mean we can't do 2 hours again.
I had a friend. Her name is T, and well, I mean, I still have her. She's still my friend, but she used to do the donations, and people email her the questions, and she would make a whole video where she answered all the questions and went through, and that's how she did it. So that might be something too. If you like, you were pre-booking them, let them go ahead and send you the question, and then when you get on there, you don't have all this. You already have your list, so you don't have to go through, because it was going pretty fast, and a lot of times there's repeats, and you don't want to miss anybody, and so you already have your
Yeah.
list. You can just go through, and then
And then
people.
too, even with the Friday reads, it gets a little bit difficult because if you're a reader, can you read everybody in order? Yeah, you can, but I like to wait for Spirit to give me the message, for Spirit to kind of point out the person to me. So you may have somebody who comes in at 7 p.m., they give their question, but their question may not be answered till an hour later.
Yeah.
And then you're like, damn it, I hope this person is still here. I hope that they're going to hear it if, the question, if it comes up. Because, I mean, I try to do sometimes going in a line, but, them things, it goes so quick. I mean, the names just go so quick. But we'll get it. We're going to get it. Somebody was asking about spirit animals. They wanted to talk about spirit animals.
Okay.
And you did that series on...
I did a workshop, a whole workshop. I can put let me look up the link and I'll put it in here. Before I go on to something else too, I did want to say that's why I started my Patreon page. I do all my weekly readings on my Patreon for my Patreons. They pay one price per month, and then every week on Sunday we have the mini readings. And sometimes they're not mini readings, because like if I start out I only have one Patreon or one patron, then they get a full 30-minute reading every single week for their little bit of, So it works for me.
It makes sense. It 100% makes sense. We were toying with it. I mean, like I say, I just kind of threw it out. Let's do donation readings and shit, man. I wasn't prepared. We weren't prepared.
Right.
we weren't. If Nika hadn't said, okay, that's enough, because I was so blown away, it didn't even dawn on me, okay, we need to stop. We need to stop, because it was like we thought people were going to get one question, and then somebody came back in and donated another $5. I was like, oh my God, and we weren't trying to. What are you doing? We were trying to make sure that everybody got their reading. If I put you down, will you lay down and go to sleep?
Let me put this in here for Miss Laverne. I think it was talking about the spirit animals.
Yeah, that'll be good.
That's the link to the workshop. It's up on YouTube. It's free. If you want to donate, you can donate, because I originally made it for a birthday donation thing. But what kind of things would you like to know about spirit? Or Tonya, what do you know about spirit animals? I know you had an encounter with someone else's.
Yes, Shishi. I had a dream, and Shishi's familiar came to me in the dream, but she came to me as in her human form.
Speak of the devil. Hold on, let's put her up here.
Yeah, because she can talk about it. But I will tell you.
Why do I have to be the devil?
Look, you wearing red and everything.
Mm-hmm. She came prepared. I will tell you, when Sophie came to me in a dream, she came to me as an older woman with gray hair. And I felt like I knew her, but I didn't know her. So I was kind of like, okay, who is this? And when she told me her name, I immediately knew who she was in her animal form and who she was connected to. So it blew me away, because here's the thing. A lot of times with these animals that come to me, they may come to me for a time. They may come to me and walk through my house. They may sit at my altar. They may even sleep in my bed with me. Some of them, because I am picking up a lot of cats lately, a lot of cats. But this has been since I've moved here. And this little baby right here is just like glued to me. But I think they come in for a purpose, whether it's that they need my nurturing, or they need me to take care of them, or I need something from them, like a little extra attention or love. But when you see a familiar, and what was it, she even with Amelia, and I was like, I gotta take her to the shelter, and she was like, no, that's your cat. Because there's certain spirit animals that want to stick with you, that they come into your life for a purpose, and that's the way I see it. And for me, it's always been cats. Of course, I had a dog. I had Yoda. I got Yoda for Jazz, but Yoda and I had the best relationship. I mean, he was my little protector. You couldn't even get near me.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and that was the first time having a dog that loved me like that before. I mean, it snatched my soul when he died. I mean, y'all saw me. It snatched my soul, because, oh, look, I'm still getting emotional, because I never had something love me so deeply before. And I knew that he was supposed to be with me. I 100% knew that he came in for a reason. So I think when you encounter spirit animals, there's this intense connection with them that you can't even explain. You know, when Yoda died, there was 2 pit bulls outside. I literally threw myself in front of these pit bulls to pick him up. I would have lost an arm for him. And that's how much I loved him. But it was a reciprocated love. So 100%, was he sent to me? Yes. Did he heal me? Yes. Was I able to reciprocate and love him and heal him as best as I could?
Oh, he knows you loved him. He knows.
Oh my God. I didn't even, oh, who knew that this was going to bring this back up? Because I thought I was good. But they're happy to.
That was your familiar too. And you love
Yeah.
them. And that's normal. It's like a very big connection when you find your familiar. And it's like when you're doing, like, for instance, when you're doing magic, then they're right there, because they want to make sure anything that goes awry, they're going to make sure you're covered. And it's just a deep connection. I mean, there are many times we love animals, pets, all of them, like, period. But when you find your familiar, it's like coming home to something that's a little bit different.
Absolutely.
And
Tell
you
us
know
about
that they have your back and you have theirs.
Tell us, how did you come upon your babies? Because your babies have been with you for a while.
Yeah, they've been with me for 9 years. Sophie is sitting up here looking at me. So for me, I went with my sister. I was like, I'm going to get a cat and I'm going to name her Sophie. And whatever cat I get is going to look like a Sophie. And my sister was like, that's not how it works. You're going to get a cat and then you see how the cat looks and then you find the name. Well, I went to PetSmart. She goes, let's price out the items for, the cats. And then, we know what we're saving for. Or what you're saving for. I was like, oh, okay. And so I walk into PetSmart, we're looking at the stuff, and then I see Sophie. And she was the only one there. There were no other cats, just her. And I was like, I want to pet her. And like, I've grown up with calicos. We had mostly calicos. And the calico in the witch world is also known as the triple goddess cat.
I didn't know that.
And yeah, she's really cute. But so I ran across her and I was like, let me hold her. And so I was holding her and she was just loving on me. And I was like, look at the puppy. Sorry, I was like, wait, that's a big puppy. And the guy was like, well, yeah, the rest of her litter got adopted, but nobody wanted her because they said she was too needy. And I had just moved into my apartment. I was like, needy is perfect. I would totally love a needy cat. I was like, I'm taking her. And she looked like she was the funniest shaped thing. She had a little body and these really long legs. So she looked like that weird stuffed animal that you see on the shelves with the long legs and the tiny body. And she was acting so shy and all this stuff. And I was like, I want her. She's perfect. So I pick her up and my sister's like, well, what are you going to carry her home in? I was like, oh yeah, a box. She's like, no, you cannot carry the cat home in a box. So she went and she bought me a kennel. And we take her to my sister's house. And we're like, let's see how she interacts with our other cat, our family cat. We opened that cage. She lied to all of us. She took off. She was running around the whole house. It took us like a good 20 minutes to catch her, to put her back in the kennel. And then the family cat was mad because he's like, territorial. And so I had her for a few months before I had to go back to school. And because it was just me and her for so long, and I would go to work and I would come home to make sure she was okay, she was used to a certain schedule. And then when I went back to school, she got angry. So I would come home and she would attack me because she felt like I neglected her.
Oh.
And she would be jacking my little ankles up. Like, I mean, it would be horrible. She would like run, attack me, and then run away. And it was like, I couldn't catch her. It was horrible. It just hurt. And so I was like, I have no idea what's wrong with you. And so I went to sleep, and then she fell asleep next to me. And I was like, oh, you're lonely. And I get that. So then I was out and about, and I saw Hannah. And Hannah is actually, her full name is Huli Hannah. She was named after a bar in Shenandoah because they donated to the pet people. But basically the guy was like, well, we were thinking about possibly putting her down because everybody else was adopted and she's just been left here. And I was like, no, I'm taking her. She's perfect. So I got her. So I have one dark calico and I have one light calico, and they definitely have two very different personalities. Very different personalities. But when I'm doing anything with spellcraft, Sophie is always there. She's always making sure that I'm not going to do something wrong. There's sometimes where I'm about to put something in before another thing, and she kind of just hits my hand like I'm doing it wrong. And so then I have to redo it again. When it comes to mediumship, though, and like dealing with a lot of the spirits, Hannah is usually around me and walking around, looking at me. But they both sleep by my head. Which is something that I learned that cats, when you're a medium and they're worried about spirits coming to bother you in your dreams, they sleep by your head to make sure that nothing messes with your dreams. So that's how I came about my babies. They're spoiled.
That's beautiful. What about you, Lynna? Because we know we saw Big Thor. Was that? No, that was Karma. Wasn't it Karma? And Karma is a wolf hybrid, right?
Yeah. I think she might be 100%, but I don't know. I can't really say.
Yeah, when she barks, it's kind of like leave me the fuck alone type of whatever that is. I don't even know if it's a bark. It's kind of like a, and I'm like, okay. Yes.
She's a sweetheart. She really is, but everybody's scared of her. Everybody's scared of her.
But she looks like she could rip your throat out. She literally.
She would. That's how. Remember when I ended up in the hospital from that pit bull?
Yes.
Because I got in between her and a pit bull for fighting. But yeah. She's something else. I found her, actually, I was driving down Main Street in Dickinson, and I seen her crawling across the road in traffic. So I pulled my car over and I opened my door, and she got up and she ran and she jumped into my car. And so I took her down to the pet hospital thing and had her scanned. She didn't have a chip. And I posted her on Facebook and all that kind of stuff, trying to find out who she belonged to. And this lady contacted me and said that she had found her 4 months prior, and the people who claimed her was keeping her tied up, and they had put some kind of lead or something around her leg, and they had it tied so tight that her foot almost came off. And she still has a black ring around her leg where it scarred her because it had cut into her. So I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not even going to. I took off my post, deleted all the posts off Facebook looking, and I just kept her because I wasn't going to let her go back to that kind of place. And she's been real good. We've gone through 4 couches because she will eat your furniture. But she's pretty good. She's a good dog. She you come in and she does not like men though. At all. She does not like men.
Probably because they abused her.
But when I walk up to her, she'll just like throw herself on the floor and roll over and show her belly, want me to pet her. So I've had her since 2015. So I've had her for a while.
Can one of y'all explain what a familiar is?
So a familiar is a witch that comes back as a animal to guide other witches. Pretty much is what it is, summed up. Usually they run into, baby witches or people who are just stepping into the craft, but they're usually very connected with nature and animal spirits. And they've chosen to come back as an animal to assist those in the craft. That's what I have summed up. Did anyone hear anything else different?
That sounds about right.
You know what, though? If you go all the way back to history, familiars were not always cats or dogs. They weren't always animals.
Right.
Some people had said that there were dolls that were familiars and that they would help you with whatever it was that you were trying to do in spellcraft, but you had to give them some of your blood. So they would drink your blood in exchange for helping you with your spellcraft. So they weren't always.
I've seen it on movies. My throat's real dry today. I've seen it on movies where frogs or like mice, and they actually kept them inside of their self. Like they'll put them in their mouth and they hold them inside, and then they'll bring them back out and feed them from like a mole or something like that.
Well, they said that rats and mice used to be, people would have them as familiars. Lord help me. If one of them, I can't stand rodents. They would have to send me a note with it tied to its tail of why I have to keep it. Because, oh my God, I would lose my fucking shit if a rodent popped in here and was trying to, I couldn't do it. But there are people that I know that do have like rats that they say are their familiars.
Mm-hmm.
And snakes. Like you said, a little bit of everything.
I think the interesting part was to like look into the history and then find out that they were feeding them blood. And I'm like, is that why Sophie jacks me up sometimes, get that scratching because I'm not giving her blood? I have no idea. But yeah, they would feed them drops of their blood, kind of like that's what they sustained them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, is back in the witch trials, one of the ways that they would identify a witch was by her moles from wherever she was feeding the animal from. Like a small nipple out of her body, a mole.
Mm-hmm. Even with, because they said moles around your wrist or your hand, which I have a bunch of them around my hand, or where witches would. They would kind of poke themselves and then feed their familiars with it. So it does make sense. And like she said too, I think even in modern times, you do have animals that will draw blood. You have spirits that will draw blood. You might be walking through your house and step on a tack, and it's because that spirit may be needing blood. So it does happen. It's still to this day.
Well, Yoda got plenty of my blood.
Towards the end, Yoda was he was nipping a few people, and that wasn't even it wasn't even his energy. But towards the end, yeah, he started turning into a little hellhound.
Well, this is when I first met you, even before the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was.
Instead of one hand, I got comfortable with one hand petting him, and I went with him for 2 hands, and he just was no.
Yeah, he never did like the 2-handed. Anybody else, he was like, no, you're not picking me up.
Mm-mm. No, because the only time I ever carried him was after he passed. That he never let me pick him up. Now, if I was sitting on the couch, he'd jump up and he even lay his little head on my leg and let me pet him. But I was
Mm-hmm.
never to touch him with two hands.
Let me see. I'm trying to look for questions about it. Let me see, Day Day. I
Yeah, I wonder
definitely
if like
scared.
the interesting thing is like whenever like let's say TV shows or so, and I'm not trying to um like
Well,
bring
that's
up
what we
charms
get a
and things
lot
like
of
that.
information from. So, you know.
No, but I'm wondering because whenever they show cats, they're always women. Whenever they show rats or bats or frogs, they're always men. And I was just like, how did like it was there some I'm just wondering, was there something to that as
Yeah,
to what was chosen?
it's called
Huh?
sugar and spice and everything nice. That's what little girls are made of. Snakes and snails and puppy dog tails are what little boys are made of.
But
Well,
you know
because then
what?
hmm?
Go ahead, because I remember when we got voodoo, and I was like, I wasn't sure if I was going to keep voodoo, and you were telling me you did a reading, and you said voodoo was a little boy that
Mm.
had come back and needed some attention, and it was interesting because a lot of times with most of my friends, a lot of their familiars were females with
Mm-hmm.
cats. But I have heard where people that you definitely have some male cats that are familiars nowadays.
Because then like when you think like some people actually do have birds as familiars. They do have a crow or something else, and you're just like, is that a woman or is it a man? And sometimes I just want to know. I'm like, is there, I don't know, a dominant species that certain witches go to, or I don't know. I was just like, how do they come up with it? Is what I was curious about.
Well,
I
in
want
ancient Egypt, cats were considered sacred. So a lot of them were used in ritual ceremonies. And it could have been that it was easier to integrate spirits into a feline, maybe because of qualities that they needed to use at that point. But I mean, with that series that Lynna did, where was it? Animal Speak. This man had literally taken the time to connect with a lot of different characteristics of spiders and snakes and deer and things like that. And you can imagine walking through a forest and really connecting with a lot of animals that maybe have some type of spiritual connection to you. I think it's just like with the Lawa and the Orisha. You have certain animals that come to you at certain points in your life because maybe you need those characteristics. Maybe you need to be cunning like a rat, or you need to be shady or sneaky to maneuver. Maybe that is why that animal does come to you. It would be interesting to see, like all these cats. I have a lot of spiritual attacks that are coming in. Normally, when I get a lot of attacks coming towards me, I get a backyard full of fucking cats because what they're doing is they're transmuting that energy. They're trying to protect me. That's why I let them come in the house and I let them lay around. I don't chase them off. But this year, I had raccoons, I had possums, and they were cool. They were cool as fuck. The raccoon was out there doing a little dance in the middle of the night. So I wonder how many of these animals come to us when there's something that we need that
Yeah.
they provide.
Well, that's just like totem animals. Our totem animals change depending on what chapter we're in our life. Sometimes, like we have a sea turtle. We need wisdom. We need protection. They have the shell and all the stuff. And then other times, our totem might be a skunk. You never know.
What is a totem animal? For those that don't know, what is a totem animal?
Well, it's kind of like a familiar, but it doesn't belong to you. Is that a good way to describe it? It's there for you. You can call on the spirit of the turtle or the spirit of the skunk or the spirit of the spider. Um, if
the
you
spirit animal,
notice,
basically.
yeah, they don't. It's like a familiar, but it doesn't belong to you. It's what you need at that time during your life. One of the ways that you can determine what animal is talking to you is if you're driving down the road or if you just happen to see a particular type of animal over and over again. Say you driving down the road and you pass by 2 dead skunks and you smell it. And then you come home and you turn on the TV and it's Saturday morning, so you have Pepe Le Pew on there. And then I don't know what else has skunks, but so the skunk is trying to tell you something. You need to study the medicine of the skunk, find out what the attributes of the skunk is, of what the message is supposed to be. Why are you encountering that animal? One of the things about the skunk is everybody knows it smells horrible, but that is its way of protection. The skunk is not aggressively just going around spraying everybody. He's going to pound his feet. When he pounds his feet, he's giving you a warning. The second time, if you didn't leave, he'll turn around and point his tail at you and pound his feet again. And then if you don't leave, he'll spray your ass. But he gives you 3 chances to get the hell
get
out.
away. That's true. I've encountered them walking. Yeah, they give you warnings before they spray you.
Yeah.
Tioi says, "What if you want absolutely nothing to do with any animals? It's like they're demanding something I didn't volunteer to give." Tioi, I 100% feel you on that. When I get 15 cats that come in my yard, and it was like, I did not say I was going to buy a big bag of cat food this month. I did not. I don't remember making this pact with you guys that I was going to feed you. I think for me personally, I am realizing the more spiritual or the more awakened that I become, that every life is precious. Like spiders and things like that, instead of killing them, I actually capture them and put them outside now. Now I have a garden where I have hummingbirds that are coming in. I don't like frogs, but I have a little pond on the side of the house where the damn frogs are swimming out. I mean, I'm turning into some weird witchy woman over here with all these animals and or either I'm remembering who I used to be. I don't know. I don't even know what it is at this point. So I completely get it. What do y'all feel like when you have a lot of spirit animals that show up and you're like, okay, I didn't sign up. I don't like spiders. Why are these spiders coming to me?
Well, that's when you got to look back at the attributes of the animal. If it's spiders, maybe you're something, you're going roundabout something and you're going in the wrong direction, because spider webs, they have their circle and then they have spokes coming out from the center. The circle lines are the sticky ones. So if you're going roundabout the wrong way about doing something, maybe you need to go straight through, because the lines of the web that are straight through are not sticky. So they're trying. That's what I was saying. When If you don't like animals, you don't want animals. You don't have to have animals. The animals are still going to try to give you messages from spirit.
Yeah.
Another thing about
Usually,
spiders,
like, I don't know.
you have to be scared of them, because most of them can't bite you anyway unless you roll over on them or sit on them or things like that. You have to press up against them in order for their fangs to even penetrate your skin. The deadliest spider, I
Like the
guarantee
daddy
you,
long legs.
yeah, we used to play with them things all the time. And they're the most deadliest spider, but their fangs are so small they can't bite you.
I did not know I didn't know daddy long legs were dangerous.
And we used to
Yeah,
pick
they're
them up
poisonous.
as eggs and play with them.
They are?
They're the most poisonous
Yeah,
spiders ever.
they're extremely poisonous. But they have to get you on like open wound or something like that. But most of the time,
Yeah.
they seem pretty docile because you pick them up and they just send them on their way.
Yeah.
But
I had no idea. It's amazing when you become an adult, how many times when you have conversations like this where you realize I could have died a lot of times as a child. Because I used to play with them damn spiders all the fucking time.
I mean, they would be like, I didn't, like when I was young, I didn't want anything to do with them. But when I was older, I'd be like, oh, it's just walking on me. And I'd let it walk on me and I'd be like, okay, put it out the door.
Yes.
And my sister would freak out. She'd be like, oh my God, it's a spider. Yeah, it's a spider. But I don't really get freaked out by spiders, but those ones that are hairy, you can see in their dark from across the room. I'm like, bitch, what are you? that's a whole wolf on the wall just looking at me. And jumping spiders, it's a wrap. Even though I'm not scared of spiders, I'm like, no. You're not going to jump at me. But what I discovered is, depending on where you're from and how you look at it, spiders are also messengers. Like if you see them, the first spider you see on New Year's Day, if you look at the colors, that's usually the colors of the first visitor that you'll get to walk in your house, what they'll be wearing.
They also say that if a spider falls on your face, it means money's coming in. That would trip me out. I would just like shit myself if a spider fell on my face.
I've actually had one fall on my face. It was, it's frightening.
And did you have money come in after that?
You know, I don't remember. I just remember it was like an interesting thing to run through my grandma's house. Because I swear to God, I ran through every room of my grandma's house. Common sense would say just get the spider off of me, but I'm sitting here running, and of course the spider just hanging on too. So but what? At that time, it was just fear. Because I mean, she had these big black bugs outside her house. I wasn't sure what landed on me. It was a lot happening. It was a lot happening at that moment. But what I found interesting was the fly. There was a lot of times there were tons of flies around me, and I was like, I don't stink. I am not. These flies are not attracted to my smell. I have no idea what's happening. But then I read this thing that said if you keep encountering a lot of flies are pests, and they're consistent with what they want, which means that you are inconsistent in something that you're doing. So you need to be more focused and consistent and go continuously, repetitively after what it is that you want, just like the fly does.
And it probably won't take you long to achieve your goal because they have very short lifespans.
But here's the thing also, too.
That's comforting.
A lot of times when you have an infestation of flies, demons, flies travel with demons a lot. So sometimes when people send things to you and all of a sudden you have a house full of flies or fruit flies and things like that, that's because you may have a spirit that these flies are traveling with. Same thing like with spiders. Somebody was like, we have a lot of spiders in the house. Gede, spirits of the dead, move with spiders. So there's interesting because there are spiritual connections with certain animals that definitely are positive, but there's also spirit connections with certain animals that are definitely negative. Anytime I get a bunch of flies in my house, I need to cleanse. Especially if you don't have things that are attracting them. You have to look at that. And two, I remember one time somebody sent me a gift, and it was it was supposed to be like a protection packet. And so I put it on my desk, and I mean, that thing attracted so many freaking flies in. When I threw the thing away, the flies just started dying. So that was work. Somebody had literally fixed the work. And that's when I stopped bringing things into my house from random people that were just sending me gifts, because sometimes people will, and you will see that. So always discern on things like that, especially when you get a lot of particular bugs or animals that are coming to your house. You probably need to go ahead and discern on why they're there.
Yeah. Also, mold will grow.
Yeah.
On things. If people send you something and the packaging just starts to mold or get like a little moldy thing that's been worked.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, each animal comes with a purpose. And a lot of times infestations, you see it on a lot of the horror movies where, the exorcist, she opens her mouth and all these goddamn bees and flies come out the mouth because the infestation accompanies a demon or a spirit that is negative. They may command that. What was it? The lotus that God sent upon Egypt?
Oh, locust? Yeah.
Locust. What did I say? Lotus? I've been on that. Oh, Lord, I've been saying
I'm trying to think of a flower, huh?
For real. When I said it too, and that would have been beautiful, right? Lotus flowers falling from the sky instead of locusts.
But yeah, they're talking about that in that book that we're reading on Wednesdays in the book club. They talked about this guy sent a gar to like kill these people, and the first thing they noticed was blood flies biting them, because the blood flies came with the gar.
Yeah. Definitely certain demonic spirits that travel with insects. Now, like I said, a lot of spiders, you have the Gede in voodoo, where a lot of them are represented by certain spiders. But I mean, I divine on it. Whenever I get anything weird, I even divined on the raccoons. Why are the raccoons fucking here? Where did they come from? Never had raccoons before in my life. I've been here almost 4 years, and all of a sudden they were chilling on my lawn furniture like they were paying rent in the
Somebody's
backyard.
trying to steal something from you.
Yeah, and that was it. They were like, pay attention. You're going to have something that's going to be taken away from you, because you had these little shady, beady eyes that were coming in. So
And they wear a mask like the bandit.
Yeah, somebody was moving in silence, Spirit was telling me. And these raccoons were they were showing me that I had bandits that were moving in silence. What about you, Shishi? You ever encounter that, like warnings from your animals, or warnings from certain things that come across?
Not from insects or anything. Nothing like that. I think I had bees, but they weren't at my house. It was just everywhere I went, there were wasps. And I worked with a Native American shaman. He's like, well, what do you think the wasps are telling you? I was like, I don't know. I don't even know why they're here. Like, what am I supposed to be? Why are the wasps following me? So I did a cleansing on myself, and they were still there. So I was like, you know what? I'm taking this as a sign that y'all want me to have your nest when it's done for baneful magic. And that's what I took it as. But I didn't, I mean, we did readings to see if someone was tossing at me or doing anything negative, and nothing came up. Yeah, just wasps. I haven't had any bees. I had the flies. We had the flies, but it was at the old place that I stayed at. There was a lot of flies. And I have to say that I took the persistence sign, but sorry. We also, I woke up one night and there was like a whole dark entity on the other side of the bed of the person that I was sharing with. So I was like, that's
interesting. I've noticed too with butterflies, like when people pass away, like sometimes you'll have certain butterflies that keep coming around. And it's amazing how totem animals or spirit animals, like they show up maybe when you need it. You know, like if you're at the graveyard and you're asking, like, give me a sign.
Yeah,
that you are okay, and then you get a butterfly that comes in and you see it 3 or 4 times in different places, and you're like, okay,
usually it's
you
like
know,
a white one or yellow.
Yeah, I've always seen the yellow ones. That's true. I've always seen the big yellow ones around graves and things like that. And a lot of times, if you ask spirit for a sign, they will use animals.
Mm-hmm.
It may be owls, or frogs, or things that come to you. I've seen so many people do it, and then they'll be like, oh my God, I had all these birds show up. So I think, you know, if you're looking for confirmation, sometimes put it out there and see what animal comes, see what animal shows up.
I used to encounter a lot of vultures, like buzzards, and it was trying to tell me that I was going to be going through some shit and I needed to protect myself. Because, you know, the buzzards eat dead carcasses and they stand on the dead carcass that's full of disease, but they, for lack of a better word, they puke on their feet. That they're standing, you know, they puke on their own feet because there's some kind of bacteria or enzyme in their puke that protects them from getting those diseases. So sometimes it's about I'm going to have to go through a lot of shit
Wow.
to protect myself. Other times it's illness and I need to protect myself.
I had a dream that a vulture. Go ahead, babe.
Go ahead. You know, I don't think I've seen anything so crazy lately. I mean, I see a lot of deer, which I feel is pretty normal, especially where I'm at. Um, and I see a lot of well, now it's winter. Well, pretty much cold as like hell. Um, we had a lot of crickets and grasshoppers, and the flying ones too. Like they would open and they would fly, and they would be blue. Their wings were blue, and then they'd
Wow.
land. They were really pretty, and then you'd be like, "That's a giant ass cricket grasshopper thing that's just flying across."
That's wild. That
Yeah,
is.
but when they opened their wings, they look like blue. It's a really pretty blue. And so that was something that I had a lot of around me. I never looked into it. I was just like, that's a little different. And then just kept moving along. But
you know what, grasshoppers are very patient. But the slightest little thing, if they feel what's the word I'm looking for? If they feel threatened, they jump and they'll get out of a situation. So maybe telling you need to jump and get out of a situation.
that could be because I saw tons of them at my job.
Interesting.
Maybe that's what it was telling me.
Let's see.
Always there at my job on the playground.
They just said I had a raccoon come up the escape stairs to my apartment and chill at my window. Now that you say that, it makes sense because my old roommate was sneaking and not paying the rent. Yeah, raccoons definitely the bandit, the looking like they have a mask. Every time I see them, it makes me think somebody is being up to some shady shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're being up to some shady shit, and in my case, they are. They are, well, they think they are up to some shady shit. The raccoons told on them. It was like, okay, the raccoons were like, pay attention to your money, pay attention to your valuables, pay attention to things that are important to you, because somebody's trying to be sneaky and steal your shit. And 100%.
See, I think for me, Tonya, if I kept seeing cats, like, or cats kept coming to my yard, which I see, we have like a lot of cats in our neighborhood, and whenever I see them walking and they're walking past me and they look at me, I feel like they're telling me, like, we see you and we're good, or, you know, they're just letting, you know, me know, hey, you're protected, or, you know, maybe you need to watch out.
Absolutely.
It depends on which one I see. Like the black cat, when I drive past my house, if like she's like standing up and looking at me, it's kind of like she's like, you need to pay attention to something. And every time I look at her and she's standing up, something weird always happens. Like I just had to get my car fixed, or somebody was acting crazy across the street. And that's all the time when she's standing up looking at me. But when she's laying down, everything in the neighborhood is pretty calm. But then we have a black and white cat, and she just walks around, and she like makes sure everything's good around the house. She kind of patrols the neighborhood. And when you don't see her for a while, you're just kind of like, some shit just went down. And like, where's the cat?
True.
Like, where's the cat? You know,
so. I think you brought up a valid point, because even going back to Tio's question, if you don't have animals, it's not necessarily just the animals that you have or you take care of. If you live in a community, pay attention to the animals in that community. I remember one time I was on the trail, and the animals, I saw a possum go in the opposite direction. Then I saw a deer go in the opposite direction. And as I was walking, I'm like, what made them turn around? Why did they turn around? Let me go ahead and turn around, because they picked up some, and it was a rattlesnake. It was somebody had found a rattlesnake on the trail. And so evidently these animals were like, we're getting away from that danger. So I just kind of paid attention intuitively. I was like, there's something up there that's making them go a different direction. Let me not be the stupid human. Let me look at the animals and turn around and go too. And I'm glad, because if I would have saw a rattlesnake, I literally, that would have been it. I would have had a heart attack. So it would have been it.
I don't do snakes. I don't do snakes.
I don't either. Especially ones with rattlers on them. I don't. And I mean, you know, I'm in Texas, so it's common, but yeah, I would have had a heart attack.
Every day. All day.
So like you say, yeah, pay attention to the animals in your community, even the stray animals. You know, you don't have to be an animal lover to definitely connect, especially if there is a spirit animal that decides that, look, I have a message for you.
Yeah.
But we do have to be, we have to be more in tuned, I guess. Would that make sense? Is that the right way to say it? Like,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you can't just be in your own world. You have to look at the things that are going on around you. I even look at the flowers now. I mean, it's a lot of things that are changing for me this year, that I'm looking at things for signs, for guidance, and you know, a lot of it is not mainstream.
Well, nature knows.
It really does. That I will say. No, yeah, it does. I will say that. I keep seeing a lot of blackbirds, actually. A lot of crows and other blackbirds and magpies. A lot of magpies here I see. I may look up what the magpie means.
Do research and find out, you know, what type of environment do they live in? What are some of their characteristics?
Yeah,
that I need to check out. But I think whenever you need something, like you were saying, if it's your cat or your pet or not, the message is going to get across to you somehow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not every familiar has an owner.
Yeah,
some familiars
so true.
like to just
and it's not always a live animal. Like I was saying, it could be roadkill, it could be a cartoon, it could be a billboard or pictures. You can scroll through Facebook and you see this certain type of animal you keep seeing over and over again.
True. We had about 4 months ago, I was driving with a client and we saw 2 black cats that had been hit in the road. And the first thing, and I didn't even know she was a spiritual person, the first thing that she said is, "Oh my God, somebody lost their luck." And I was like, "What?" She goes, "Did you see 2 black cats? They were dead in the road. Somebody lost their luck." And the only thing I could think about was, fuck, don't let it be me.
Right?
Don't let it be me. But it didn't dawn on me. I was thinking a completely different way. I was thinking, oh my God, I wish I had a container and some salt and I would pick them up and harvest their bones. I wasn't thinking about, oh, they were dead. Somebody, I know that's the witch in me, right? It's like, I need some black cat bones. But when she said that and I was driving, it stuck with me that whole day. Somebody lost their luck. So I wonder if those cats belong to someone and there was some work that was thrown at them and they died, or, you know, if it was a spiritual warfare and they died, or were they just random cats? So I'm an air sign. I went all off the deep end with it. But she's a very Christian woman. And for her to believe in that, or the superstition of that, it just kind of caught me off guard. Like, oh yeah, could be somebody lost their luck. So it is interesting. Let me see.
I think that's one of the reasons, like, everybody's like, oh, let your cats go outside and come inside. I was like, no, absolutely not. Not these 2 cats. I was like, these cats make sure I sleep. Make sure my head is protected. I'm not risking that for anything. Plus, they don't want to go outside. Now they've been so domesticated in the house. They're too spoiled. But my mom's cat that drives me crazy, who is really in reality my sister's familiar, even though she's not practicing. But I'm like, that's too familiar. He's a little boy. And I was walking downstairs and I saw him run into my mom's room. And I was like, what little boy is that? And I walk in and it was Ashton. But me and Ashton are having issues because he pisses on my shit right now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I can't deal with. I done bought 2 of them robots. 2. Have you seen the little robot? You gotta get a little robot. It's the best thing ever.
Ooh, well, cat urine is pure ammonia.
But you know
what? Ugh.
Listerine. I found this out yesterday because he peed on my makeup bag and ruined the makeup bag, and my brushes were there, and he got some of the brushes because it was on the makeup bag. I was like, I refuse. These brushes were not cheap, and I put them in Listerine, and it took it away.
Really? Because cat urine is hard to get rid of. But you hit on something about, indoor and outdoor animals. when we rescued Voodoo was used to being outside. Now he was appreciative to have a warm house to come into and somebody to feed him regularly, but he prefers to be outside. And a lot of times with my animals that are around my house, I do anoint them. I do pray over them. I pray over their food, because when you go into spiritual warfare with other workers, if the work does not hit you, it can hit your animals. So if you do have familiars, if you are taking animals in, if they are protecting you, try to do the same thing for them, not only in the physical, but in the spiritual. You know, I used to give Yoda a little bath and then splash Florida water. He hated it, but I would splash Florida water and I would pray for him. And who is it? Saint Benedict for dogs, right? Is Saint Benedict over all animals or just for dogs?
St. Francis of Assisi is over all animals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you might even, if you do have familiars, or you know that you have animals that go in and out, you might want to get a protection amulet or talisman on them so that they can wear it.
Oh, that reminds me too. I think it's this weekend that a lot of churches are doing blessings of the animals. So if you want to get your animals blessed, you just look it up, because it's supposed to be this weekend. Ours is doing it on this Saturday.
Yeah, I wish I had that done for Yoda. I really do. But I know a lot of churches out here do it. Cats can be tricky. I guess you got to keep them in the carrier, because they do splash them with holy water.
And if you don't want to take your animal, you can take a picture of your animal too.
That's interesting. I might do that. I might try to get a picture of them and take it. But yeah, just be real careful.
It's next Saturday if you want to come down here and let the rabbi do it.
Yeah, I might go ahead and do it. Just take pictures of them, because I'm not fixing to fight with these cats at all. So that would be good. But yeah, if you ever get an opportunity to do that, because there's some evil people. They don't give a shit if it's your kids, your pet. They're gonna attack the thing that's closest to you. And a lot of people forget about their animals. They do. You know, they take spiritual baths. They, anoint their house. They anoint their cars, and then they leave their dogs and their cats or snakes or whatever your animal is. They leave them vulnerable. And unfortunately, the work will hit whatever the weakest link is.
Yeah. Get your kids to hold your pets while your pets are being blessed.
Yeah.
The way it, bleeds off onto your kids as well.
I don't know. It always shocks me. I'm like, who would want to mess with the animals and the kids? And, but you're right. There are some horrible people out here that they don't care as long as it destroys you in some way.
Yeah. Do you really? I mean, you have some people that can be very focused on your destruction. Like they won't stop until you fall down. But then you have some people that have very chaotic magic. It's just like, I'm going to throw at the whole fucking house, because so if your child gets sick, to them, that makes them happy. If your animal gets sick and dies, that to them, whatever causes pain for you. And unfortunately, we don't want to think about people like that, but there are people like that practice. They don't give a shit.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
And a lot of times your familiars can transmute a lot of negative energy, a lot. But you want to make sure that you're at least wiping them down or praying over them to give them. You want to take that energy off of them, especially because they're taking it off of you. A lot of times cats will go run outside, or they'll run around and they'll burn it off. But for dogs and things like that, sometimes you may need to, give them a nice spiritual bath or something like that.
I think it's wonderful, though. I mean, I have to say, it took a while to realize that when I would come home and I would be frustrated and I would be angry, that they were just rubbing on me because I wanted to take away the negative energy. They just wanted me to be calm.
Yep.
And then, and if they do go outside, then you're right. They go outside and they brush against a tree or something else, or they lay in the grass and they just kind of, recoup themselves, which is wonderful. My poor cat, I'm like, I better rub on a plant. We're not going outside.
And even Chantel says crystals. You know, a lot. I don't use a lot of crystals, but I have what is it? My selenite wand. So
Mhm.
I mean, you definitely could take that energy off of them with crystals too.
What about an egg?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you could do an egg cleanse. Now, for a dog, they may try to eat it if you get it too close to their mouth. But I would think that I think that you could probably cleanse with an egg. I used to have a client that used to let her dogs and everybody run free on full moons. Like she would take them into the backyard and smoke her cigar while they would run and she would pray over them under the moonlight. I think if you have animals or familiars or anything that's close to you, you become very efficient at how you want to protect them. Because you think about it, it becomes a ritual for you.
Yeah, it really does. So, all right. Well, we're about an hour 15.
Oh yeah, we've gone in. So I guess I don't know what is it next week? Are you putting the poll back up or the poll is in the
Yeah,
group?
I'm gonna put another poll up in the group, so y'all be sure to vote on what topic you want us to talk about next week. At least kind of give us a guide, because we always gonna slip off on something else anyway. But
But it's good. I mean, and it's good. Thank you guys for having a dialogue with us. And thank you. I think it was Laverne that even started the whole thing
yeah,
with the spirit animal. So thank you, Laverne, for that. I'm always up for conversation and learning because, shit, I didn't know daddy long legs were poisonous.
oh yeah,
now my old ass gonna be looking at them in a different way.
you gonna start collecting them, aren't you?
I'm gonna start kind of like, okay, shoot. I can't play with you anymore. I'm gonna have to just go ahead
No, girl, collect them, put them in a jar. You may need them later on.
and girl, you ain't even lying. You ain't even lying. We'll
Use them
see.
for work.
Just like dead wasps and everything, collect dead wasps. That's always
Girl,
useful.
I got a whole jar. For some reason, I got blessed with a bunch of them that kept coming around, and I was like, yes, I got a whole jar with some nice stingers too. But y'all, I love you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.
All right, love you guys.
You as well, and I'll talk to you guys later.